Oh, there it goes.
There we go. We are official. So, welcome to Conversations. Or no, actually, it's like crossing. No, what is it? I forgot because we extrapolated
Do
both.
you,
Just a second. Con
are we using what are we? Is it the name
Conversation.
we?
Yeah, crossing paths. Conversations with Goddess Renata and friends. That's what I did.
Okay,
I did
okay,
crossing paths, conversations with Goddess Renata and friends. So this is I'm Goddess Renata. This is my friend Devin, who is right here, and then our other friend Tim Doyle, and the
where's
Golden Ones. Tim's in
where's
China.
in China?
He's in China. It's like 9 o'clock there, 9
Wow.
a.m.
Oh, that's not too bad.
No, he's an early riser. He said
Very good.
we could go more. We were just talking about how things are um, in China, how they're pretty chill. And then when he watches, certain stations of the American media, it looks like we're crazy. He
That
didn't say that,
he
but that's
lives
kind of what you meant.
he lives in China.
He lives in China. He's
That's
married.
very
His
cool.
his woman is Chinese, and he was saying that you were just sharing that you missed the idea of having people come over. He did meditation classes, all that
Yeah,
when he lived in the States, and I was
yeah,
saying how important it is. That's why we are getting together. Important for people to kind of get together. You and I talked about that before, just how important it is, you know, to get together. So that's, and then you came
yeah.
in pretty much, and then
Yeah.
we're starting.
Okay.
So that's kind of, and I haven't given Tim, Devin, any background information except for, we've done a couple podcasts together. And what I told you is that I just, um, Devin and I had started a podcast, did some tests and had some fun. And then, it's just like, I'm pushy. I'm just pushy. I know that about me. I'm starting to learn that. I'm just pushy, and I just like things like I'm not real supportive. And that was a hard one to own. Like I always thought I was the proverbial like, oh, well, no, you're good. So, like bump that. I am not that way at all. I like to be in total control of whatever the creative project is. So, and you're kind of the same way, and you're the same way too. We're all like identical in that energy. So I kind of liked you and thought you had stuff to say, and I loved how you were so funny when we were playing around with that stuff. You were like, I can do it, yeah. And then you were a good sport when we did the thing with Ryan. So anyhow, I've been, we met, and then we just kind of struck up a relationship, and then so we've been hanging out a little bit.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, and just like I met you.
Yeah.
Online in my Saturday group, and your emotional parasite appeared, and then I said to my friend Danielle, "Do you know this Tim Doyle guy in the Golden One?" She's like, "No, it just appeared in our inbox." I'm like, "Well, I'm gonna go look at his stuff to see, like, I'm gonna vet it. I'm gonna see if there's anything good there." That's pretty much what I did. And I thought the
It's-
emotional parasite was so simple. I loved how you broke it down, and it's a good tool. And we were talking about that. And I don't know if Devin knows about that, but he's going to at some point.
okay. There was my next question. Has Devin experienced the technique?
No, and then why don't you? Because I think that sharing this with people like again and again in a bunch of different ways is super important. So why don't you go ahead and share that with Devin, and I'm listening again, and then I'll pop in if there's something, because he may have a way that he channels lots of different energy that comes to him and through him. Um,
Okay.
yeah, so everybody has their way, but I liked that the way that you share in the Golden Ones, it's teachable to people because it's like a protocol. You know what I mean? It's like yeah, yeah.
So Devin, what it is that within the conscious, you have two minds. You have a conscious mind and you have a subconscious mind. And in your conscious mind is what you're aware of right now, and your conscious mind is like a recording device. It records everything you see, hear, taste. In your conscious mind, the responsibility of your conscious mind is to determine what is true and what is not true. And if it's true, then you file it in your subconscious mind. Okay? And so if you want to recall something like, what did you have for breakfast today? Devin, what did you have for breakfast?
I don't need
You
breakfast.
got to think. You see, you have to pull it out of your subconscious mind. It appears in your conscious mind as a visualization of what you actually did this morning and what you ate. And so it's a visualization. You pull that out of your conscious mind and you bring it into your, out of your subconscious mind, and you bring it up into your conscious mind. True?
Yeah.
Okay. So what happens is over many carnations and maybe even earlier in your childhood, you might have had an experience where you almost drowned, or you fell from a height, or a snake almost bit you, or maybe your parents told you that you weren't tall enough or not smart enough. You have these feelings that does not make you feel good. They're either a fear, an unhealthy feeling, or about yourself or someone else where you just don't like something and so forth. And so what happens is, when you have, since the conscious mind can only hold one thought at a time, you can't be thinking about, oh, I want this job. If you're thinking about, oh, I'm not good enough, or I'm not healthy, or this scares me, and so forth. So you can't stay focused on your dreams and desires. And so, and plus, if you're thinking in a fearful mode, you don't vibrate at a frequency that brings in the energy from the universe to support you, because in your spine you have, like, oh my God, you have 3 sets of amino acids, 64 amino acids, and if you're in a fear consciousness, you only vibrate 1/3 of those amino acids. But if you're happy and positive and upbeat, you vibrate about 90% of those amino acids, and those amino acids vibrate who you are to the universe, and the universe will support you and give you what you want with your desires and your dreams. So the purpose of the prayer to remove emotional parasites is so that the soul gets rid of all those unhealthy feelings in their subconscious mind, so they no longer bother the soul, and the soul can be happy, upbeat, positive, so their dreams and desires become a manifestation in their life. Okay?
Kim,
Go ahead.
you got to have a breather. So,
Okay.
I know that you understand this without even being like asked. You understand what's going on. And I wanted to add in there, there is this thought that once you release those, send them into love, that if they come back again, then you've done something wrong. The idea is, in comparison, when you bring up that trauma, drama, or that thing that just bugs the heck out of you, after you've cleared it, it may come back again, but it's like not as heavy. And it's like, oh, it's just like a thought, and you just let it go, come through and go. That is the value of this. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Once it's like having a bad photo on your phone. Once you delete that photo off your phone, it's gone. All right. Same principle with, once you get rid of the fear or unhealthy feelings, once you do it, it's gone. There may be another issue associated with it, and you just get rid of that also. It happens. It happens immediately. It doesn't. You don't have to wait like a day or 3 days or say it 10 times. You just do it once and it's gone, if the intention is sincere. Now, these fears and unhealthy feelings are actually parasite organisms. So what they do is, if you have a fear, they can interfere with your mind, all right? And you think it's your thinking, but it's the parasite injecting their thinking into your mind, saying, this is, the fear really doesn't bother you. You only have this fear maybe when you're flying, and you really don't need to get rid of it, or the prayer's not going to work. They'll put doubt in your mind to stop you from taking this fear off of your conscious mind, because the parasite feels that if you remove it, it's going to kill them. And they're surviving in you, and that's where they survive. So they don't want you to remove the parasite off of your subconscious mind for fear it's going to kill them. Okay?
So a good example is like addiction. Like, oh, I've been clean for a long time now, I'm just going to go try that again. Oh yeah, sure, that's okay. I mean, some people say it's the voice of ego. However you want to do that one. I mean, are you following with this one? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's like.
So Devin, is there a fear or an unhealthy feeling you might have about yourself that we can experiment with?
Or we can do. Devin has been like a guinea pig in another little experiment where where we did. He's a chiropractor, and he practiced. Well, he was a good NET practitioner, neuro emotional technique, and yeah, he did a clearing on a thing, and you were like, oh, that's kind of freaking amazing. And the response was like maybe down the spine where your back went out for a little bit, and then you're like, oh, what is this? I'm like, oh, that's that. There was some serious fallout. This technique, similar to releasing things, and maybe there could be some fallout, but it's not like you have to share what it is. You just have to bring it up for you. You're not like saying what it
Yeah,
is.
you don't have to.
You can
You
share
don't
it if
have
you
to
want
tell
to.
us. You don't have
No,
to tell us what it is. All
no.
right. Yeah, you don't have to share what it is. You just have to. If you know if there is something, all you have to do is bring it into your conscious mind by you thinking about it, because it's in your subconscious mind, and your
Mine is,
conscious mind can only hold one thought at a time. So you need to pull it out of your subconscious mind and bring it up into your conscious mind to get rid of it.
I mean, I have a little something, uh, and it just feels like it'd be great to be able to demonstrate this because you've got it recording so we can share it with people. That I noticed, like when I had a shift, uh, I call it like a flat line. When I closed my eyes, there was like nothing. I drowned in a couple lifetimes, and so let's see, was it 2 years ago? Maybe it was a year ago. Well, when I met you, then we had that nice little session, and I told you about the drowning thing. So in three situations using this technique, I flatlined with the drowning story. Like it was just gone. So I mean, can I share? I'll share this real quick because it's probably
Sure, go
oh
ahead.
drown, and I think I shared that with Tim. And then we were on the beach we were on vacation, and I was watching a guy who was a strong swimmer, and he almost drowned, and then he saved himself. And I thought to myself, oh, interesting. Hmm. So that felt like a physical demonstration of me releasing that fear of drowning. I got to watch somebody drown and they saved. Then I had a dream where I'm like running and there's nowhere to go, but there's a moat and it's like you got to jump. I jumped with no hesitation, swam the other side, and then I woke up like, you aren't afraid of water anymore. You
So
aren't afraid
you
of drowning. Because I had done some work to release that. I bought up the drowning thing, and then it was really clear. It's like, oh yeah, I drowned. I could feel that. And we did the little placement. We're gonna go with that, and I just closed my eyes, and it came up, and I said the words, and then gone. And then I had confirmation, watching someone drown, being saved in my dream, jumping, having no hesitation, and I woke right up and like, wow, I've had that drowning dreams, falling in the water, not being able to get anywhere, running dreams on water, not going anywhere. So clearly a fear of the drowning, the water thing.
Hmm.
Really, it was deep. And then like it was gone. I'm like, I've had that for, a long time. This lifetime for sure. So
The,
anything like that.
the biggest thing I could think of for me would probably be I get anxiety sometimes.
Okay, I like anxiety.
Yeah,
Okay, that just like makes you not be able to function kind of anxiety.
pretty much. Yeah,
Okay, that's a good one. That
now,
see,
and
Devin.
it comes out of nowhere.
okay.
Now, is there any particular thing that causes the anxiety? Is it like driving or going to work or swimming or forced to do something? Someone forcing you to do something that causes this anxiety?
No, not really. It just kind of comes out of nowhere, and then it just kind of it's like this energy comes over me, and I feel dizzy and foggy headed, and the dizziness is really, I think, what causes me to become very anxious,
Okay,
because I
I
feel
get you.
so disorientated.
Okay.
I feel like sometimes I feel like my body's coming apart, not in a painful way, but in a
Right.
very almost psychedelic kind of way. It's very uncomfortable, and it's happened so many times now where I don't really necessarily panic anymore. I just kind of wait it out.
Okay, that's a real one.
All right, Renata, how would you have Devin call this up into his conscious mind?
Yeah, okay, there
How,
you go. That would be the thing. That would be the thing. So, if we had to wrap a story around it some kind of way.
I can call it up.
Okay, that's what he's
okay,
saying. Like
I
bring up
got
the
it.
package of
I
energy
got
up.
it
you
up.
can call it up?
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
up
okay.
there.
So that's to the people who'll be
Okay,
watching
good.
this. Bring up the package of energy, whatever, however it is.
I got it
Okay,
loaded up there.
you got it.
Okay,
He's
all right,
loaded.
now,
He's ready to go. I love it.
okay, good. This is good, Devin. So what it is, you put your left hand above your navel, because that's where your subconscious mind is, okay? It's in your feeling body, the solar plexus. You put your right hand on your heart, all right? Now, you have to call this anxiety up into your conscious mind, all right? Renata, is there some place, okay, and then repeat after me, okay? When you're ready. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. This feeling is not mine.
This feeling is not mine.
This feeling does not belong to me.
This feeling does not belong to me.
I release this feeling in love,
I release this feeling in love.
now and forever.
Now and forever.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Do I keep
How do you
it
feel?
there?
Huh?
You keep it there until you feel like you've leveled off.
Oh, until you feel like, okay.
Well, you don't have to.
No, but
It
like
should be.
I could say that hold on to it. I use the word till I flatline. There was no more energy, but till there's like a clear space. You might have different words for it, but you're like,
Usually what I find is the person doesn't believe that it happened, and then I say, well, try and find it and call it up again. And they go, I can see their eyes searching their subconscious mind, and they go, well, I don't know, but maybe later on I'll find it. So I don't know, Devin, can you find it? Can you pull this feeling up again?
Oh, yeah.
You can.
Well, yeah, I never forget a feeling.
okay, well, let's pull it up again. Let's see what
Okay.
happens. So,
I'll
like,
pull
let's
it- I'll
pull
pull
it
it
up,
on
pull up
that.
again, and see how you're in comparison. I think that's what he's going for.
Okay.
And you're on the spot now too. We recognize that whole thing, but I'll give this to you, and you can play with it. You and Romero too.
Now, also, Renata, I'm just wondering if this feeling is not a parasite, more of a spiritual thing with him, where he's not used to the energy of this feeling that is. Now, let me ask you something, Devin. Renata indicated that you have channeling energy and so forth, right? You channel energy.
For sure.
All right. Now, does this, how do you feel about you channeling energy? Do you feel good about yourself?
Yeah.
Do you feel you're capable, that it's okay for you to do this, and that there's nothing wrong with it that goes against your being raised as a child? I don't know how you were raised as a child or anything like that. Does it go against your teachings by your parents or anything like that, Devin?
It certainly goes against their teachings, but the funny thing is, what you said about maybe it's energy I'm just not used to. That's exactly what my guides always say. And when you're in something like that, that's so intense and so uncomfortable. Even having your guides directly say like, "Oh, don't worry, you're just acclimating to some new energies. It'll pass. It'll be fine." Even then, you're still like, but what if I have a brain tumor and all of you are a hallucination from my brain tumor?
All right. So Renata, this is what I'm getting is these anxieties. He calls it anxiety, but it's just the feeling of the energy. he's not comfortable with because he doesn't know what it's doing to him. Okay, when he channels, you're opening yourself up, and you may not be comfortable with doing. Are you comfortable when you channel? Are you comfortable?
Well, yeah, and I don't do like readings or channelings for people, but I do very frequently channel who I call my guides, who are a group of entities that are very what you would say, maybe angelic or, sixth density, whatever floats your boat. But I don't necessarily, sometimes I do reach out to them, but for the most part, our conversations will start randomly, usually in the mornings.
Oh, I love it.
I'll wake up and they'll be talking, 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 and so I'll just listen um, and we started this sort of conversations the way that we have them now about 2 years ago. It started to become really, we've always interacted, but about 2 years ago we started this kind of where I was aware of it, and we'd have these conversations, and you know uh,
Mhm.
they're always, everything they say is always very productive, and it's always very useful and very meaningful. And they do, they have come to, they're like, oh, don't worry, this feeling will pass. You're just acclimating to new energies. That's why you feel like your body's coming apart and you have no feet on the ground.
Yes.
And like you're gonna float away. You're gonna be okay. You don't have a brain tumor. They always say, one thing they repeat themselves a lot, and one thing that they repeat a lot for me in those times is they say, no ailment will befall you. And they'll say it over and over. No ailment will befall you. You will have no emergency medical event. Because that's always I'm like, am I like, this might be a major medical issue.
Because you're a caregiver as well too, so you do that for
For sure.
for
Yeah.
and yeah.
Well, Devin, maybe we have to get rid of that feeling that something's going to happen to you, and
Sure.
that's
That's
the
a real
feeling, and not
that's
the
a real one.
anxiety, but the thought that something major is going to happen to you health-wise.
Yeah.
That's what you need to get rid of.
And interesting, you missed this, but I was telling Tim I woke up this morning with that like a fear, like I couldn't get my bridge in. I'm like, oh my gosh, you can't get your teeth in. You know how vain you are. You can't do, you know what I mean? And then I'm like, oh, and then you are kind of thin. And then at that moment, I thought, none of this is mine. Like, thank you. And I start laughing. But that was the emotional parasite, like, that fear. And I was saying, in the collective consciousness, there's a lot of fear out there.
For
And so
sure.
whatever we got going on, you know, the controlling mechanism of causing the separation doesn't really care what it tags onto
Hmm.
to feed off of that. So there's that one. I had to like go, oh, so I was using that technique, but just more like laughing at it, going, that's not even mine. Like, thank you, you're good.
For sure.
Well,
Well,
that's
and
what I say.
emotional parasites are a very real thing, and really what they do is they take advantage of one's insecurities. I like to use the
Insecurities.
metaphor.
Yes, go for it.
I
Share.
like to use the metaphor of the garden. And I use that metaphor for both the heart, the emotional body,
Yeah.
and the mind, the
Yeah.
mental body. And I describe it as, you need to cultivate the garden of the mind. The same metaphor applies to the heart. You need to cultivate the garden of the mind. If you don't cultivate it and you just let it grow wild, you know, uh, there will be plenty of those willing to plant in your field. You need to
Seriously.
tend your field. You need to weed out the weeds. You need to plant the seeds you want to harvest. And if you're not doing any of that, there are plenty of vultures out there that will um, gladly plant their own seeds in your garden. And, I love that metaphor because what these parasites do essentially, see, they cannot feed off of pure life force. Uh, it's not compatible. It's not resonant with their mind, body, spirit complex. In order to feed off us, they have to convert life force into an energy that's resonant, that they can consume, that's resonant with anger, hate, malice,
Fear,
disdain,
abandonment.
negativity.
Yeah.
And so what they'll do, they'll either take an existing insecurity or they'll plant a seed of their own, and essentially embellish upon that and kind of poke at the wound, to get it real nice and festering, and then feed off your subsequent anguish.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So, Devin, how about we work on getting rid of that feeling that something physically is going to happen to you
Okay.
when this energy comes to you, and get rid of that. Get rid of that thinking.
That's a good
Yeah.
one.
For sure.
Okay.
I like
Can we
it.
try that?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll be
Okay.
with my little thing too, so we're good.
All right. Left hand on above your navel. Right hand on your heart. Now, Devin, you have to think about getting rid of this feeling that something is going to major happen to you when you're channeling this energy and so forth. Let me know when you're ready.
Ready.
All right. This feeling is not mine.
This feeling is not mine.
This feeling does not belong to me.
This feeling does not belong to me.
I release this feeling in love
I release this feeling in love
now and forever.
now and forever.
Amen.
Amen. I do think
Now, try and find that feeling that something's going to happen to you. Look, search.
I'm gonna fucking die. There you go. We've got to put our glasses on now because it's like this is serious business. I'm Miss Studious. Who are you, Mr. Studious?
I'm a librarian.
Can you find that feeling? Can you find that thought?
I can certainly, I can recall it. I do feel like a bit of release for sure.
But you're the philosopher. You're like Sagittarius. I've done your numbers in that too. And like, you're so brilliant, like all of us are, right? Our head gets in the way before it gets down to like, oh, that really was a cool thing. Like I
Definitely.
investigate it, then I'll go look up to see if that's any value, then I'll check it out myself. And so, if you grab a hold of this to be able to share it with others, like your family and friends, which is kind of what we're talking about, because you
Right.
can catch a lot like your brother, you can catch a lot of stuff and you got a big family, so you'll ripple out nicely. And you'll be able to feel when someone's just like holding on to something. And your stepmom just passed away. How's your dad doing?
He's doing really good.
Okay.
Now, where I have used this in China is with my wife. All right, where growing up she had preconceived ideas about foreigners or from me or thinking I'm doing something, and it took her a while to trust what I was doing with her with this prayer. And once she did it, she says, oh, I don't feel like that anymore. Okay. So if you're in a relationship and they're like judging you, having a judgment of you, and you can get them to remove this judgment of you, it's great for your relationship to build a bonding in your relationship. Just tremendous. My wife now, she laughs all the time because with her, I've done it about 3 or 4 times, and I don't do it. I got to pick my moments. Maybe every 4 or 5 months, I'll say, hey, hon, how about, we do this? And of course, she's in denial at first because that's the parasite. But once I say, okay, it's causing us a problem, she'll say, okay, I'll do it. She laughs more now than we have ever before. She's laughing all the time. We have a lot of fun now, but it's great in a relationship if there's any conflict between you and your partner to get them to analyze what they're doing and say, why do you think that? Get rid of that stinking thinking. Get rid of that. And if you can convince them to do it, it just builds a better bond between you and your partner. It really does. I mean, Renata, you work with couples, right?
I have, yeah.
Yeah.
I
It's a
showed it. Yeah,
great tool.
it's a great tool. And I feel like as the crafters and the sharers, you've got to find, like you said, you pick your moments wisely. You're not doing all the time with your wife. The same thing with, how you describe it. Do you know what I mean? Like I put it in the framework of how it worked for me, like the drowning thing. And I'm like real, and I did this and then then I ran and jumped into it and there was nothing. So you got to develop your storyline with it when you share it. Because if
Yeah.
some people are like, emotional parasite. They're into the metaphysical wooey wowee, and like they missed they missed the whole point of it. Like over their head, gone. So it's got to be relatable. It's got to be tangible, and you can even call it something else because the golden
Yeah,
one
you
is
don't
not
have to
really
call
clear.
it a parasite. Yeah,
No, because
I
what you
mean,
were talking about, what you shared, what you shared, same thing. It's like you acknowledge that's not even mine, and you laugh at it. You can even blast it, like, "Oh, thank you for however you express that you are free, that you are free." And but the basic principle is the same. You acknowledge this is not mine. I'm choosing. I'm done with this. It's almost counterintuitive. Like, so this has really messed with me for my whole life. So why do I want to say that, I release you in love? Because you want to embrace to erase. You knock the legs out of it. You meet it where it's at and like, you've seen me. You got to go. This is my temple. You don't get to reside here. I get to say I'm in control. I'm goddess. You could be goddess.
exactly.
Tim's the one that gave me the goddess title.
Yeah.
He did.
Well, it's true. I mean, all females are goddesses, and all men are gods. It's just owning who we were all. If you're created if a eagle has an egg, has an offspring, it grows up to be an eagle. Now, if we were all created in the image and likeness of God, then we're all God beings. Now,
We gotta high five that. True. True.
All right. So if you embrace that you're a God, what you're working on is when you're created in the image and likeness of God, the God characteristics are raw in the offspring. And so life here in this earth spiritual training school is to discipline your emotions, control them, because your emotions have control over you. You do not have control over your emotions. If your emotions get erupted, you don't know what you're going to do. You could kill somebody because your emotions are in charge of you. So you need to discipline and master these raw God characteristics so that you are always in charge of your energy, always in charge. And that's the purpose of a soul in this earth spiritual training school, is to discipline and master the emotions. Now, there's a technique to do this if someone's interested. I did a video on this a couple of years ago. I had to experience this. See, what happens is these raw emotions are in your solar plexus. And what causes them to erupt, they're trying to get to the mind, the brain. And they get irritated on the journey through the pathways, the neurology pathways to the brain. And so they get frustrated, upset, and so forth. And so what happens is the soul reacts to this, and it stops the energy from getting to the brain. And so then eventually the raw emotion has to start its path again, searching to get to the brain, but it picks when the journey is going to start again. But if you put yourself in a meditative state, sit by yourself, bring up the irritation of the emotion and play it out and sit there and allow that emotion just to erupt within you without saying or reacting to it, it will go to the brain and can be converted from an emotion into a God feeling. You never have to experience it again. I had to do that twice. That's how I got taught how it works. Once in a ayahuasca ceremony where you don't talk, and once in a relationship where I didn't dare interfere. I had to sit there and be lectured. And I had to sit there and allow that energy just to find its pathway. But yeah, it's a journey, but it's good. Once you discipline it and once you master it, you're in control of who you are. Now, we know that there's other spiritual beings. Do you think that we are qualified to be with other spiritual beings if we can't control our energy? No, they don't want to be with us. We can't, I just did a teaching on the sandbox of life where if we don't control our emotions, how can we expect to like fly with angels if we get upset with the way they're flying or we're flying and we have judgment and so forth? We got to get rid of all those egotistical, selfish feelings that we have within ourselves and accept others who they are and allow us to be who we are, and we accept others, no judgment and so forth. So one day we can ascend. Now Jesus, Jesus is not the only Son of God. That's how the Catholic Church um, sells Catholicism so they can raise money off of it. Jesus was an example of what a soul has to do when they master and discipline their raw emotions. You ascend to the next level of soul development. And Jesus even said, the things I do, you will do, but even greater. So he's saying that we all can be gods if we accept it, but we have to stop that there's no sin. No one's born in sin. No one has to go to church on Sunday. There's no special things you have to do, and if you don't do it, it creates a sin. The only sin you commit is when you abuse another soul or any other member of God's kingdom. And it's not a sin. You just create yourself a karma experience. And against the universal law of cause and effect, what you do to another will be done unto you. And that's what happens. That's how the universe conditions the soul to behave and to monitor the behavior is by if I steal from you, someone will steal from me. If I slap you in the face, someone will slap me in the face. And then we learn like, oh, that's not nice. Oh, we can't do that. That's how we're taught.
And Tim, you used the word, and so you said, so that people pay attention, right? But the church kind of has monetized that particular thing to, really like get you to tithe and believe that whole thing. So I think all of us are like, understand that how you are able to pay attention and to ascend in your consciousness is to, pay attention to what's going on in front of your face. The everyday trials and tribulations that happen, and you're willing to get up and smile and be joyful, even though the world looks like it's fallen to heck in a handbasket.
You have to monitor every thought, every word, every action you take to make sure that it's loving and compassionate. If it's not, get rid of it with a prayer of emotional parasite, because you have to do it. You have to be in that state of goddess, and the state of God in every moment.
Every moment. And last time we visited, we talked about, well, sometimes it's good to have to watch people get their just desserts. I feel a little small about that when I laugh at someone's misery. But you know what? That's just kind of where I'm at. It's okay. I'm not going to beat myself up for that one. We were laughing about that because I remember talking to a girl and she was like, she's one of the readers in that, and she was saying like, oh, I just want everybody to like me. And I kind of wish. And when she was saying that, I'm like, oh, you feel like you have to hold yourself above like being petty. You get to be petty if you want to be petty. Just own it. Don't try to pretend something else. If you don't like that person, you're good. And then, that desire to like just master that, like just be neutral on it,
Yeah.
There's a trigger. You don't have to like go deep to figure out why you don't resonate with someone. You don't resonate. You're good. Don't make up a story about why that's not. That's just you. You're okay. And I tell people that. I tell them that.
You don't have to love the personality. You just have to love the soul.
It's not about being nice.
We're all in this training school. We're all in training. And you don't have to accept how they express ourselves. You just have to know that they're going through trials and tribulations, and that's okay, because we've all been there, and it's like, that's okay. That's okay.
And it's also kind of a life's a mirror reflection. So if they are irritating you, my first thing is like, so what is it, if there's nobody else out there but you, Renata, what would you be saying to you about this particular situation? Like, turn it back around on yourself. Like, what would you be saying to yourself? Like, oh, and generally any kind of like mishap I have, it's always some part of Goddess Renata or Renata that kind of feels like she's been dissed or abandoned or mind my authority. That's my big one. Like, pay attention to what I say. I'm talking. Okay, fine. No one's stopping you from talking, but you kind of think that when people are hearing you that they should do something special or something different to you, and you got to stop that because that's not working for you, is it? No, but I'm still.
You know, I'm in China, and in the outdoor markets, there's thousands of people. And what used to trigger me once or twice is in shopping, the old people walk too slow, or they push you and so forth. And at first, I would say, why does this bother me? And then I had to go, all right, use the prayer to remove emotional parasite to get rid of that feeling about being irritated, about someone being slow. And I would talk, you're going to be slow one day and so forth. So you just have to be mindful. And if something irritates you, get rid of it immediately, because it's going to stop you from your dreams and vibrations and dreams and desires from manifesting in your life. You're
It's
going to
a
be
filter.
vibrating at a slower frequency.
It's a good filter. It's like to squeeze your juicy juice. Sometimes you have to like get the little thing to squeeze the juice and filter it through again to get all the good stuff in there. You got to do
Yeah,
it a couple times to get a cup full. So that's
yeah.
kind of it. So it turns your flow on a lot better when you don't have things you have to figure out as they come to you. Like, is that me? Is that live? Or is that Memorex? Do I have to go work on something else? Do I need to learn new technique? Just no. It's like it feels off balance. If it feels off balance, it's not you. Let go of it. That's pretty much it. And everybody has a lot of ways that they do that. But I like this Master Ascension program, that Master Ascension program. It's like 28 days. It starts on a new moon.
On a new moon.
On a new moon. And then, you just kind of like, there's a couple things you pay attention to. I got a little journal that I did it. But it was like, I'm not one to follow. I like to make up my own rules. But, it's like, that's okay too. You're a goddess. You can do that. But there's certain things that I wanted to kind of master so that I could know how to, like, not be in conflict. That was important, to be in balance with the feelings.
Renata,
What?
these are not my rules. They're just teachings that come down. Okay, I just pass on the teachings.
I
Okay.
understand. I like it.
Yeah,
I love that.
you can follow it or not.
Well, I follow and I extrapolate. That's what I'm just wanting to share with people.
Well,
Like,
that's okay. Yeah,
you don't
you
have to
know.
go like if you forget something, if sometimes you put the different hand reverse, the intention is what you're wanting to do. It's just the
Yeah.
intention. And you'll
Now,
get your protocol.
now I'm being guided to ask Devin if he has any questions.
Okay.
Not at this time.
Do you have comments?
Okay. Okay. That's okay. I just wanted to make sure that you're okay, and if you had any questions, that see, you channel, I also channel, and especially when I do a podcast like this, I'm always listening, and so I listen, and I'm sure that when you channel, you listen too. You hear it, and you can, if you're talking to someone, you can hear. Renata, you do that, don't you, dear? That
I
if you're
do all the
talking with
time.
something,
That's what
yeah,
I interrupt
you
sometimes
listen.
because I hear, and it's happened even more in terms of I see the value of working with people now because I used to think that I had to figure things out for people, and it made me really uncomfortable. Like, I don't know enough to do that, and so I was always in this I don't know enough thing, And then once I started working with myself in a different way, I'm like, oh, and I started hearing things that would come and that would just come out of my mouth because I don't have a really good filter. And that's a good
Yeah,
thing. I tell people that
yeah,
immediately.
it
It's like,
is.
you're not really here to like have me tell you you're okay or not okay. I want to really point out that you're okay. So stuff that comes out of my mouth, I just say it to you because that's Goddess Renata. That's where I made that separation.
Mhm.
It's Goddess
And that's what,
Renata bringing that in.
yeah, and that's what I heard about Devin's anxiety. That it wasn't anything wrong. It had something to do with his spiritual opening, and that's why we pursue that line of questioning. That possibly was relating to his channeling the energy, and that there's nothing wrong with it, and it was just possibly him thinking that it was harmful. But okay, good.
Tim, a lot of people channel, and that's the great thing of being able to share this format in this way with people. Like, oh, when I hear and then I respond and I get a confirmation, that's a channel. Yes. Why do you think you don't have to channel something else? You can just channel your higher wisdom. Okay,
Mhm.
the goddess Renata, that's what that is. And so an important point is, I want people to know that they can actually contact you for an hour consultation. Is that still a thing when they go to your website, Tim Doyle and the Golden Ones?
They can, if they go, it'd be best if they, it's on my website, my webmaster, as part of the membership program,
Yeah.
I get a free consultation. But if they contact me by my email, I never turn anybody down.
I got you.
I don't like charging people, unless it involves, like my books are free. The only thing I charge for is the numerology and the astrology reports, because I have to spend an hour to do that. So I charge a small fee for that. But anything else is based on donations. So if someone wants a consultation and talk to me for an hour, my email, it's thepathtooneness.com, thepathtooneness@gmail.com. PATHTO oneness @gmail.com. Send me an email. You want to talk? Talk to anybody. I mean, I like talking to people and assisting them if I can. Yeah, I like talking to them. All right, Renata, I have to wrap this up, darling.
That's a good thing. And so I'm going to go ahead. We got a nice recording. It probably will not be diced and sliced at all. Just be out exactly the way it is. I will send you a copy of it.
Okay.
And we will chat again. I'll make sure Devin has information. And thank you. Thank you so much.
I'd be interested if Devin can give you some feedback.
Okay.
Maybe not today, in a week or so, if he still thinks he's going to die from channeling this energy.
Or something else over time may come up. He's like, no, that really is, that's still there. There's something that,
Yeah.
So you've got like another tool, and then, we want to kind of communicate so we can be talking about that. Okay.
Well, and it's so good to have an affirmation of, when you can corroborate, because they said it's just fun, and then to hear that corroborated from someone else is always very
yeah, like your guide saying to you, you're good.
advantageous.
You're good. You're not going to have any sort of
You're good. Now, Devin, do you work with people
Yes.
with your channeling?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. All right, that's good. All right.
But they don't know that. They don't
Oh.
know that. I'm a caregiver, and my guides are very involved in my work. They lead me to all my clients. They give me very specific information on my clients, and they give me priorities every day. Like, we want you to work on this, and this.
Okay. All right, good.
But my clients don't know that.
Oh, so you work for the CIA.
my
guides have me on like an undercover agent right now. I think that's
Yeah.
a preference than theirs, though.
And that's a really good one, because the authority thing and speaking up, and that's the reason why I just scheduled these podcasts. And then I'm like, well, you're not real good and focused, but you're a good business person, or you're a good bridge. So work with that. So this is what I've come up with. Just go do it. Don't try to make it be perfect, because you will never get off the ground doing anything that you want to do. And that could be a thing for a lot of us. It's like, we're still here. So we're with the star seeds. We're part of this moving things out. And you got to bring your wisdom down to the masses, so to speak. I mean, and be okay with that. That's where I was like, I had to recognize I wasn't really okay with that. I thought I didn't know enough. I thought I had to know more. I had to study more. I was comparing myself all the time, and like, well, gee, there's nobody quite like you. I mean, you do you the best of anybody that does anything. You do you.
Okay, I'm hearing one more thing for Devin. Devin, do you have a website where you do this?
Oh, no.
Oh, I know. I know you don't. They recommend that you do this.
Yeah.
Set up Set up a website that you do channeling work for people, that you're a caregiver, and that you have this gift, and put it out there and let people contact you, and you'll be guided to help them. Think about that.
His husband, Romero, as well, is a astrologer and highly intuitive too. And so he's new into this country. I mean, in terms of,
My guides,
yeah.
they tried to get me to do that. I did have a group back in 2012.
You did.
And it wound up growing really fast. I had thousands of members. In fact, it was on this website, in5d.net, and they had the option to make like a club on the side where it's like a group. And I just made a group and I called it the Pleiadians because, I've always resonated a lot with the Pleiadians. And I was just like, yeah.
Me too.
Anyone who resonates with the Pleiadians or just anyone that thinks it sounds cool can join. And my group wound up becoming the most popular group on the site within a couple of weeks, to the extent at which the leaders of the other groups were like, they started putting out propaganda about me. Like,
trying to diss you?
They were like, yeah, don't just follow anyone's group, that just goes on there with, good pictures. And I was like, my God, all your groups are valid. It's not a competition. That site wound up closing down, but they definitely do want me to do work like that. I'm very selective and very picky on how I approach that, for sure.
I know.
People are hungry downstairs too. People are hungry downstairs. George just came up and rubbed his tummy like it's time to eat. So this was that good? That was a good little hit for you.
Very good.
I'm going to connect you with them so you guys can chat a little bit more.
We
need to get off. We'll schedule something again for like next month, okay?
Schedule something again. Devin, think about setting up a place where people can contact you and we can promote you, both Renata and I, and so forth with your work. Okay?
I'll give it to the board. I'll see what they think.
The board?
Board members, his team, his guides.
I'll forward it to the board. I'll send them a memo. We'll see what they
what they come up with.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Right. Sounds good. So where's that my saying? All right, there you go. This is like the unity in me sees the unity in you. We make this up.
Okay.
I like this one. Namaste.
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 Love to you all.
Yes, thank you, Tim.
One infinite creator be with you.
Yes.
I love it. We're so good.
All right.
Now we're going to turn this off, I think, maybe up here.
Okay.
Okay.
So probably end.
Oh, end. Okay.
Oh, you could also do as a hotkey.
Okay. Did it hotkey it?
Did it end?
No.
I think just the recording ended.
Okay. This will be an interesting recording for you because this is a real thing.
Okay. End meeting for all. We can end it right. There's the red button.
Go for it.
All right. Devin, nice meeting you.
Very nice to meet you, Tim, as well.
Okay. Renata, hon, we'll talk to you whenever.
And you said it was Tim at the path to oneness.com for the Gmail, though. You said Gmail.
Now, the Gmail is just the path to oneness at gmail.com. No, path to oneness, not the path. Path to oneness at gmail.com.
Okay. I got it.
I'll send it to you.
Okay, but I'm going to write it right down. Path to oneness.
Okay.
Send
Okay, hon.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Visit us at www.pathtooneness.com. Join the membership program for all the latest teachings from the Golden Ones. Visit us on Facebook and LinkedIn at thepathtooneness.com.